and welcome to the Bot Box. So just to start things off, Chip is a robot whose name just plain baffles me. I mean, I don't know what kind of robot I'd expect with a name like Chip, but probably not a spinner, which is what Chip was, a four-wheeled invertible spinner. The horizontal persuasion, blue box. The team always thought a horizontal spinner would be a viable design in Robot Wars, but they held off on that design for quite a while. After trying to get in with some other robots, they entered Chip into Series 6 of Robot Wars, where in the qualifying, their robot's weapon got jammed into the arena wall and they suffered quite a bit of superficial damage from a vertical spinner named 259. I haven't done 259's episode yet, but I've talked about a few of the robots it's fought, and quite a few of them didn't end up too healthy either. However, Chip, blue, if I haven't made this clear, blue box, spinner at the front, managed to get into Robot Wars Extreme 2 and landed in the New Blood tournament. They landed in Heat B, where they drew Axbot Edgehog and a walking Hambot named RT81. Chip focused on Edgehog because they were actually quite worried about the tyre that was on RT81. And they managed to dodge Edgehog's axe and got a few hits in and reversed into the pit release tyre, knocking it off the wall in the process. Honestly, that's what UFO should have done in the episode last week. It went head on when it should have reversed it. Well, Chip did reverse and it still broke the pit release. Whilst Chip's back was turned, RT81 quite literally got thrust into battle because it wasn't moving very fast. So Edgehog axed RT81 and ominous smoke started leaking out of RT81. Chip got a couple of hits in on RT81 and RT81 caught fire. Chip went out of focus as Edgehog battled the house robots and RT81 died and got counted out. RT81 then had a cooker dropped on it, which never helps matters. Next up for Chip was Hammerbot Thor. Well, what else could a robot called Thor be armed with? Chip swapped its disc for spikes, static spikes, because the disc broke. In the process of the battle, they hit something and it damaged the motor, so they couldn't actually use the spinner anymore. Thor hit Chip early on, and the first hit took Chip out completely. Thor then sent Chip to the flame pit. You have to cook your chips properly. And hammered Chip some more, which I don't think hammers are involved in the making of chips. Thor then left Chip to go and have a fight with house robot Growler. Mr. Psycho then made sure Chip got hammered. Well, house robot armed with a hammer, what else are you gonna do? Bash. Chip met an angle grinder, the pit got opened, Chip got flipped, hammered, and finally pitted. It did look for a second like they were going to get parked on the drop zone, but no, not this time. So that was Chip out of New Blood and out of Extreme 2. It returned to Series 7 with the disc now incorporated into the body of the robot. So first it was a box. So I'm just going to demonstrate a box with the spinner stuck out here. Second version of Chip, it was more, the disc was sticking out like that. Only it was now a black box with two wheels, so this doesn't really demonstrate what Chip looked like at all. Still invertible, Its wheels were a little bit more exposed this time. They didn't have outside guards. And they landed in Heat N and drew a 6th seeded flipper Spawn Again, Dutch Axbot Nita Machine, and ring spinner stroke flipper Revenge of Trouble and Strife. Yeah, I'm glad I've already had that once episode. Chip's team was scared of being flipped out of the arena by Spawn Again. Being invertible, being flipped over is fine, but flipping out of the arena, you can't come back from that. Chip ended up being Spawned Again to target right from the get-go. It got chased around the arena, and eventually the 6th seeds caught Chip. And once Spawn Again did catch Chip, Spawn Again flipped Chip straight out of the arena. The worst fears come true. 10 out of 10 for the accidental prediction by Chip's team, but they probably would have rather been wrong. Chip never got to show what it was capable of, and I do question the team's claim that they made Robot Wars Extreme 2. They claimed they were 10 times stronger than Hypnodisc. Yeah, from the hits that Chip did get, I actually doubt that greatly. They didn't do that much damage. But I can understand why they made the claim that they're stronger than Hypnodisc. It's a frequent thing for spinners in the original series, particularly or especially the horizontal ones. They would always claim that their spinner was more powerful, faster, heavier than Hypnodisc. So in the original run, the standard you set your spinner against was Hypnodisc. In the reboot run, obviously that spinner was Carbide. How well Chip would have done in Series 7 with a different draw, we don't know, because Spawn Again never gave Chip a chance to breathe. Maybe Spawn Again saw Chip as the greatest threat. Maybe they knew that Chip was wary of them. Maybe they knew, right, Chip is the weakest link in this fight. Let's get him out. It's impossible to tell, but they never got the chance. And one could argue that they were very unlucky not to get into Series 6 because they had a bad draw. 259 was probably the worst robot to get in the Series 6 qualifiers. And the disc met the wall, though that may have been a driving error. As it stands, Chip, I didn't get to show what it was capable of, and they will never prove that they were better than Hypnodisc. It wasn't better than Hypnodisc. Anyways, I've rambled on long enough. Who's next? Taiki, I beg you, please be kind. There is actually a robot whose name is in this box that I do not want to pull out. Manic Mutant. Okay, this is going to be fun. Until next week, Callison244, out.